I've been here previous for the last 2 years, not as a speaker though. So this was the first time holding a presentation here. Okay, in the end it's kind of nice to see kind of such a large crowd, such a lot of students and newcomers as well. It's great to see some of the kind of industry giants, DreamWorks, Disney, Rockstar Games and Ubisoft, all coming through to Bangalore to kind of host a large convention for the local scene. It's nice to see.
I think it's really good because when I'm looking at the speakers, they are veterans in their own, in their own field. So I had seen the professors from, Pixar, Disney, and there are lots of speakers. There are people from Third Floor. There are people from Double Negative. So I think the whole industry is coming together over here. So I think it's a good experience and also a good place to network.
So far it's been incredible. Everybody is so friendly and enthusiastic and just really wonderful.
Both the quality of the speakers and the number of people attending the event is really second to none. I mean, I'm actually amazed that we're getting this together here, so it's a wonderful event.
I think GAFX has been a phenomenal effort. I think every year surprises everyone, and I think this year has proven that the scale at which it's been organized has been very impressive. The turnout has been very impressive, and I think it's a sign of an encouraging period in Indian animation. With new talent coming in, with people focusing on what to do next, I think we're going to be at a place where we're going to pivot as an industry. Seeing the interest from the government bodies or seeing the interest from the political class at the conference has been, I would say, encouraging as well. Now, Karnataka obviously stands for the IT hub of the country, and having that validation that the animation, VFX and gaming industry is going to be seen at the same light is very promising. So I'm hopeful that something meaningful comes out of this and we can do some great business together.
Last time was great too. This time is even greater. I think the conference is evolving and growing, and I'm really happy to see that. I mean, everything is going to the next level, in terms of speakers, organization, and everything. Really happy to be here.
My first time experience here at GAFX was very great. It was a really great audience. It was very well organized conferences and talks. So yes, it's an outstanding experience, and I really enjoyed it giving a talk here to the audience.
I really like being here. It's really nice to have these conferences. Visual effects in India is still a growing industry. It still is not so well known. People don't know what visual effects is. So these kind of exhibitions and conferences help bring people together, help give the right perspective to young students as well as the experienced people. It gives them a nice platform to come together and see what the community is doing, see what's happening all over the world. And I think over here with this particular conference, I can see clearly that the audience clearly knows what they're coming in for. It's a focused place for people to come, and the audience was quite charged up, and that's what actually surprised me, because it was at the end of the day when our session was, but the energy was just fantastic. So I was quite pleasantly happy with the whole thing.
I'm extremely impressed by the event. I'm accustomed to attending the SIGGRAPH event in Los Angeles, and frankly I like this one better this year. Very high quality speakers, nicely organized. And the people have been extremely nice.
It's amazing, actually. It's a good turnout, and it's a good experience to meet the artists and students and discuss things. It's an amazing experience.
It's an amazing experience. I'm really impressed. It's the first time for me to come to the conference, and it's the first time for me to come to India. So I'm really impressed about how big the event was and how many people are interested in visual effects.
I'm really impressed by how well organized and the lineup of speakers that they have at the GAFX conference this year. And I want to say thank you to Adi and Pradeep and many of the volunteers here for their support and hospitality. It's been really wonderful.
For us, we're meeting up with so many friends, old friends, and other speakers. A lot to learn from them as well. So overall, it's good fun, and the turnout is humongous. So it's very encouraging for us also when we are sharing our films. The response, I was quite overwhelmed by the response today. So I enjoyed it.
I think it went well. I hope it went well. It seemed like people were into it.
The session was about animation. It was mostly geared towards students. And so it was very interesting because there was a lot of questions from people, you know, how do I get into this business? What kind of things are people looking for? And as usual in events, here the enthusiasm of all the people is really wonderful. So it's actually great to have that opportunity to interact with people.
So I just finished my talk, and I think having an audience full of students was very encouraging. I think having new blood, new talent, new aspiring creative artists was a good sign for the industry and a much needed change for, I think, the animation industry at large.
It was a very invested audience. Like they really, I think, wanted to listen, and they asked me some really good questions, and I had a really good time doing the session.
Yeah, I thought that all the questions were really thought out and some really good questions that they had, and people were really engaged, and it was just a nice experience.
The audience was very responsive and cheering, and but this is something that here in India, anyways, people are a little bit more emotionally involved. So yes, the session was really great. It seemed to have a lot of movie fans here in our talk, and it's great to talk to these people and interact with them.
The crowd was very enthused. We were a little concerned about the timing, but the crowd was waiting for Fast and Furious presentation before after. And for me, the crowd really helped me a lot in terms, they were enthused, they wanted to know what work has been done. We were very enthused to show what Mumbai as India has done to the visual effects for the Fate and the Furious. So it was a really, really great time.
I was very happy with my session. I did 2 presentations. The first one was a master class, which was like 2.5 hours about physics and animation. And the room was enormous, but it was full almost the entire time. And almost the entire audience was students, which is exactly what I was hoping for. And then the second presentation was about the work I did with trolls. And again, very large room, I think very well received. So yeah, no, I was very happy with that.
I think it went well. So basically I wanted it to have more of an interactive session rather than an eye talking and just listening and going off. So I catered most of it for questions.
Yes, there were, I guess, majority of them were students. So lots of questions in my session, which is a very, very good sign. Questions are always good sign because when it's interactive, it's more fun. I get to know what the audience is thinking. So, when you just present your stuff and if there's no interaction, it's quite boring for me. So that didn't happen, thankfully.
It's so good already. I mean, compared to last year, I think it got bigger. There's even greater, speakers and all. But it's a really top level event. So if they can maintain this, actually, and of course, I'm sure it'll improve too. But it's already a wonderful event. So yeah.
I think the suggestions would be, well, I wouldn't say too many, but I think curation. I think if next year, if I had to make a suggestion, if we could curate the events slightly differently, it would be interesting. I think having more thought leadership councils, maybe roundtables, maybe more policy-related discussions, and opening that up into stakeholders of the industry, not limiting it only to a few people, would, I think, enable us to come up with a wider spread of ideas to act upon. So I think curation of content and thought leadership roundtables, for example, would be interesting.
Continue with the good work, so I don't have any further suggestion because so far it was very well organized. You have a great list of speakers here, the audience is great, the panels are great, so it's perfect.
Next year's GAFX, I think, should have more focus on visual effects. That's what I would like, because I think, like I said, visual effects is still something that people don't know much about. I think bringing in people together for visual effects, especially looking at the trend, the kind of work that we've done as Double Negative, as Prime Focus over the last couple of years, and just clearly seeing the trend across the next 1 or 2 years is going to be a really exciting space to be.
I guess it was pretty perfect. Everything was well organized. And I think it was just fine. I don't want to add up anything. Just keep up this so that people know who are there behind the scenes working on these films, making them look what they look. and it's a good platform for all the people behind the scenes to come on screen and show what they're working on and how things are moving forward, and how films look so pleasing to the eye. It's not just the actors or the director, it's also the visual effects artists and the CG artists involved behind the scenes.
It's really been excellent the way it is. They have done a great job of bringing a variety of presenters, as I said, from some from India, some from outside, some in visual effects, and some from animation, some from gaming. Just keep that formula. I mean, it's a recipe that works. So yeah, just do that again.
I feel that next year I want to come as one of the attendees and I want to attend the sessions. So this year I couldn't do that. Maybe next year I'll do that.
For me, it's very hard because I would need to talk to more of the delegates, but if there's that many students here that I saw in my talk, I recommend that probably there should be more talks about how we do films in detail, like in terms of visual effects. But maybe there should be some talks about modeling and some talks about lighting and how those processes fit in the visual effects pipeline. Because it's amazing to have so many speakers here who talk about their films that they're working on, but it'd be good to do like little kind of case studies about how the visual effects pipeline works, not just here in India, but other places as well.
I really don't. I think this has been a wonderful conference, and so all I can say is they've done a fantastic job, and it's really just a wonderful event.
I'm sure it's only going to grow because the government support. I'm sure the government also is going to be so happy with the kind of outcome, and in whatever way I can be part of it or help in whatever way, I'll be glad to do next year.